So what I thought I'd do for like 10, 15 minutes is kind of bring you through the trajectory. We've been in business for 14 years. So how we built Fresh Films is actually I'll back up a few years. So in 2000, none of you, well, you guys were all younger, and probably, this was the first like .com wave, and I was like 28 maybe. And there were these two companies, one called iFilm and one called Atom Films. And Atom Film was bought by Shockwave. iFilms, I think, got dissolved in MTV. But they collectively, one of them raised $20 million and the other raised $40 million through investors to create these online film hubs. And so my husband and I at the time had written a business plan for Dreaming Tree Films, and we thought this is the perfect time to raise money. So we went out there, talked to investors, and we didn't raise any money except for my brother and my brother-in-law felt really sorry for us and collectively gave us like $5,000 each because they apparently had more money than we did, which we promptly blew on rent. And over the course of a year, and we were like, holy crap, like we clearly didn't raise any money. But we won a business plan competition. I have a really nice plaque. But I talked to a friend in the business at the time, and he said, you know, you were in sales for 15 years. Go out and sell. And so at that moment, we started knocking on doors, or I did, I guess, of the city of Chicago, you know, Baxter Healthcare, and basically started to create a bit of a reel. Through you know, creating commercials, creating corporate videos. And then we happened to walk into a meeting and we got a grant from After School Matters. And this is actually a great opportunity for you guys as young filmmakers. You could apply for this. So they give these teeny grants, $9,000 for the semester, which really for a young person when we were younger and didn't have kids and a mortgage and all that kind of stuff, not a bad thing for, you know, 10 hours a week. And they gave us this grant to go into one of the high schools, and we to teach filmmaking. But we didn't want to teach filmmaking. We wanted to create a film program. So we did. And so what we created was the Fresh Films program, and we had teenagers behind the camera in all aspects of the program. And then we started to realize, like, this could be a lot bigger than just Chicago. So we brought in sponsors like Doritos and Samsung and Wrigley and Slurpee and the rest to essentially sponsor it and give us the money to basically take this program and go to multiple cities. At one point, it was the largest teen filmmaking program in the country. It went to Dallas and Los Angeles and Chicago and Atlanta and Miami, and basically every summer we'd have a team of teen filmmakers who would create a short film. Awesome. And then we started talking to other brands. So the key to, I think, to our success on some levels is selling. So we would go to yet another brand. At one point we went to the Milk brand because they were doing all these like Milk mustache campaigns with to teenagers, and they said, oh, we really like what you do, but could you create something else for us? So we worked with them and created a music video program where teens created music videos, and we got Usher, and they created Usher's music video, which was really cool. And then we did, you saw the National Guard helicopters in there, that looks probably like other people's helicopters, but it was National Guard. We actually embedded young people, 17 to 21, into the Guard to create documentaries about what the Guard does on a local, like sort of, they're the ones that in an ice storm save everybody, or Hurricane Katrina, they're the ones fishing people out of the water. We did a really cool program with Reese's Puffs, that's why you saw Dominic Monaghan. And then we had a lot of really cool programs on Netflix. Do you rent them? Not a little bit, right? Mainly it's longer form. We couldn't do anything with the short films. So what was happening was we'd have all these great films and music videos, but we couldn't distribute them because generally speaking, there is a bit of a market for short films, but not a significant market. We worked with the Coca-Cola and Sprite brand, and then had an amazing program for them. And then Sprite had committed to come back for a year, kind of like the DGA guy. And in September of 2011, they called us and said, you know how we said we were going to come back and work with you guys in this very big $500,000 program? Well, we can't. And we were like, ugh. And we were caught with our pants down. And we had a choice at that point. So we had to let go of everyone who worked for us, and we could either close the doors, or we could kind of pull up our, what's that phrase? Pull up your boots, and kind of start over. And so what we had started to think about, and through talking again with other filmmakers and a former professor of mine, he was like, you know, you got this great content. How come you're not actually distributing it in places where people will buy it? And we were like, well, short films don't really, merit a ton of revenue and distribution, or there's not sort of direct things. And he was like, well, I think there's something there. So what we did is we took our model of these 10 teams, so the LA team, the Miami team, the Dallas team, the Chicago team, of all these teen filmmakers, and said, what if we take all these teenagers and bring them to one set? And what if they all work on a feature film for us? What if they all, come in week after week after week, and we mentor them just like we did before, and they work on one single feature film? So that's what we did. And now I got to see if I can get to it. Let's see. It's called The Stream. And wait, now where the heck did it go? And I opened it, but let's see if I can find it. Nope. Where would the JPEG be, Matt? Oh well, such is life. Now I got to get back here. So it's called The Stream, and I can't seem to show it to you because I'm a little bit, oh, here it is. Wait, hold on. So yeah, can I open it? Oh, now it's got to run a security can. Okay, so this is The Stream. And someday it will load down here and you'll see these like lightsaber kids. So we created this movie. Eslin wrote it, and then we hired a writer to kind of rewrite it and to make it stronger. And it basically created a whole story behind it. Now I'm going to talk to you about creating a story behind when you are trying to market and sell your film or get hired. Essentially, this film is teens behind the scenes making the movie. We partnered with Boys and Girls Club to not only bring their kids into the production process, but we're actually revenue sharing with them. So every time you actually rent the movie from the theaters, okay, well, I guess it didn't download all the way. When you rent it from the theater, when you buy it on DVD, when you download it, a % of the proceeds we're sharing with Boys and Girls Club. So it's a charity cause marketing angle. So what we did with this film is we produced it like any other film. The major difference was we had teens working on the film set, but because we had teenagers working on the film set and because we were sharing the revenues of Boys and Girls Club, I had a bigger story. So I went to AT&T's foundation and Taco Bell's foundation, and I went to Century 21 because we had a real estate scene in there. And I pitched them and I sold them on, if you come to this movie, we're going to be putting teens, we're going to be giving them career skills. They're going to be interfacing with celebrities who are going to act in this movie. We're going to be distributing the movie in traditional ways like Walmart, Redbox, et cetera. And then we're going to share the proceeds with Boys and Girls Club. And so I got some major sponsors to sign on, and he has a pretty small cameo, but I only had to pay him 10 grand. Seems like a lot, right? Rainn Wilson was paid 40 to narrate the entire thing and be in it. These are not salaries, right? He hasn't even cashed his check yet because clearly it's too small. Really? Kelly Rutherford's in it, Chris Gorham, who's going to be pissed off they didn't make the cover. So with this movie that you can't see, now I'm just annoyed. This is the new cover. We just got it today, and there's like these lightsaber kids on the bottom. I'll just close it because it's just annoying. I'll show you the trailer. So this is a real movie, and what we did is just kind of change, oops, that's not what I wanted. We kind of changed our model, right? Sorry, Matt, you're getting the back of my head in your video, so you'll have to do some editing. We kind of changed the model slightly and went from creating a bunch of short films to taking the sponsors that we used to get, combining what the teens did, and put them on a feature film. And the fun part was we didn't know what the hell we were doing from a distribution perspective. We knew how to put a film together. But from a distribution perspective, it's one of those, I think, areas of filmmaking that is really closed off because they want to keep you out. And truly, it is really, once you get over the intimidation factor, it really is available, I think, to filmmakers. And so we strategically went to Regal Cinemas because they were a partner of Boys and Girls Club and asked them if they would distribute the movie. They wanted to make sure the movie was good, so they looked at it and liked it. We asked them to put it in 20 theaters, of which I think we got 19. It actually turns out that it was way too big of a release for us because we didn't have the marketing to support it. You see all the marketing for movies does it on purpose because it's really hard to get people into the theaters. But what the theatrical release did, even though we lost some money on the theatrical, because you have to spend about $1,500 per theater to get in, because you have to pay a fee and then you have to produce a digital drive, and it's cockamamie. From being in the theaters, we were able to get a distributor called Cinedigm. They have a lot of really great movies, and they're distributing domestically. And then we were able to get an international distributor called Double Dutch out of Toronto, and they are distributing the movie internationally. So we released in theaters last October, and by the time we got our act together with most movies come out 90 days after their theatrical release. Ours is coming out almost 10 months later because of just for the timing of the distributors. But it'll release in Walmart, on iTunes, and Amazon, and a bunch of other countries on August 26th, which is pretty awesome. I don't know how much money we're going to make, truly. I mean, the estimates that the distributor sent us are sort of one thing, and the reality we'll see kind of another. But like our role isn't stopping, even though the distributor is distributing it. We still have to market the movie and get people excited, because even though Walmart's going to have it on shelves, this isn't Despicable Me 2 with a $50 million marketing budget. But I'll just kind of show you what this looks like for a few seconds, and then I'll kind of take you forward to kind of what the only other thing we're doing today, which is Moochie Klala, which is what Bill talked about. So we had to go to the MPAA and pay $3,000 to get our PG rating. Super annoying.
Hey, I'm Mario Lopez, and thanks to our friends at Regal Entertainment Group, you're about to see a glimpse of an inspiring film that I'm really proud to be a part of. It's called The Stream. It's a fun family comedy that benefits Boys and Girls Clubs of America, and you can see it exclusively starting October 18th at participating Regal Entertainment Group theaters.
Summer of 1981, what 12-year-old didn't worship Star Wars?
Who's next? I struck the Dark Lord of the Sith. No, I struck you, the Dark Lord of the Sissy. Come on, Dork Vader! Sorry, Ernest. You can have mine if you want. That's okay.
The Swoopers are coming over for just a shower.
The Swookers?
I think you and I should spend some quality one-on-one time together.
I had to get my whiff saber now.
An hour there, 30 minutes in the store, and an hour back.
Oh, you're really ugly, really fast.
Every little man for himself! Time to turn around.
No, I know where I'm going.
I am lost.
I'm gonna get you, Terry!
I suggest working as a team.
Go on a mission.
What kind of mission? Don't you dare go near that stream.
You are absolutely grounded.
Where are you going? We have orientation.
You'll never guess where I am.
So that's The Stream, which was in theaters, and then and I can tell you a little bit about the whole Star Wars connection if you want to know. In process of selling The Stream, we happened to get a call from this guy named Matt who turns out wanted a video, and he was super, super, super wealthy, and we were like, awesome, we're going to try to get him to underwrite The Stream. And he had other things in mind. He had these crazy stories that his dad had written, and he wanted to figure out how he could bring them to life. And we kind of listened to him, sort of annoyed that he didn't want to, with all his big money, support our movie. But he was like, I really want to get my dad's stories to screen. And we said, okay. And we went back with a couple big ideas for him, one of which was this show idea called the Moochie Klala Detectives Club, which essentially is a half-hour children's television show that is all about how Grandpa tells this crazy story about how Tiamat the dragon, ruler of Mars, hoarded all the water. And the kids are like, okay, there's definitely not a dragon on Mars, but did Mars have water? And in the back 2/3 of the episode, they decide to go to the Adler Planetarium and find out about Mars and water on Mars. And so he kind of liked the idea. We put a budget together, which was way too shallow, by the way. And he agreed to invest in it. And we went and got the major museums in Chicago, Science and Industry, Field, Shed, Adler, who am I saying? Lincoln Park Zoo and the Frank Lloyd Wright Preservation Trust, so we could do architecture. to line up with one of each of the 6 episodes. We then did a casting call, and lo and behold, Tim Kazurinsky just showed up. That was complete luck of the draw. Showed up to audition for the role of Grandpa. So we casted him and a couple other kids in this, and developed a half-hour show. But at the beginning, it was all a bunch of ideas on paper. We didn't have the Adler first. We said, we think we can get the Adler. It kind of makes sense. We can promote going to the museums. We can promote learning about science. So I'll show you how this turned out. And then once we had it edited together in the format that you're going to see, we went out to distributors. And so I just started cold calling like heads of programming. So there's basically, there's your local television station groups like PBS or WCIU or NBC here, and then there are national television networks, which you know, Disney, Nickelodeon, PBS National. I went to PBS National with this, and they were like, it's too old. We only target preschool kids, and this is elementary. She goes, but and then Bill happened to know someone at TTW, and they reviewed it, and we got lucky, and they really liked it, and so they're going to distribute it. But there's a hitch in that, guess how much TTW is going to pay me for the program?
40 grand.
0. So it's called a barter. I'd love if they paid 40 grand an episode. I'd be like, awesome. They pay 0. They pay what's called a barter deal. And so they're going to give me the opportunity to sell advertising inside of the programming. TTW works a little different, but if I was on NBC, there are half-hour shows are 23 minutes because the other 7 is advertising. So what a traditional television station will do is say, I'll keep 3.5 minutes, you get 3.5 minutes to go sell, okay? TTW works a little bit differently, but similar construct. I get a few minutes, about 4 minutes of advertising and sponsorship to sell in this program. But if I don't sell it, I still make 0 and they get the show. If I do sell it, I get to pay investors back and pay off some additional debt and maybe make a little bit of money. And Eslen, my husband, is the filmmaker. When I go on set, actually, which we do, I'll do for like corporate stuff and commercial stuff, I hate being on set, actually. And so for those of you who hate being on set, there's a role for you. It's called producing and selling and then distributing. But I hate being on set. I'm like totally bored. And I'm like, do you have to get that shot again? And then the rest of the crew looks at me and is like, yeah, we do. This is only the 3rd take and we need to have safety. And I'm like, ugh. And I'm like, how far do we have to carry the equipment? So I'm like, did you ever see the movie Van Helsing? And the doctor guy who was in Lord of the Rings, I can't remember his name, he's like, but Van Helsing, I'm not a field man. That's like my line. I'm like, I'm not a field man. And so they all laugh at me, but the reality is that I like doing this stuff better. I like, Eslen and I will come up with these kind of crazy ideas. We'll put them all on paper, and we'll actually get people to buy them. But I think part of our success is not only having someone on your team as a salesperson who can literally knock on some doors, but also I think it's packaging it not to be like, hey, this is my film, and will you give me money to do it? If you can create a little bit larger story, like this one is all about connecting with the museums, driving people there, educating kids about science, or the stream is all about engaging kids in career skills and then donating some of the money. If you were doing, let's say, a film and you had let's say your lead character was autistic in your film, and I'm just making this up. If you partnered with the Autism Society, you'd probably get people to help pay for your movie more than just asking mom and dad and your friends and doing a crowdfunding thing.